personnel, including board governance, superintendent evaluation, and central office administration. 551076, discussing security personnel and devices and district-wide intruder detection audit report findings. 551082, discussing disciplinary matters or complaints regarding school children and or school district employees. 5510821, discussing personally identifiable information about public school students. And 551087, deliberation regarding economic development negotiations. The Board of Trustees hears public comment on both agenda and non-agenda items in accordance with Texas Government Code Section 55107 and local board policy. As communicated to each registered speaker in writing earlier today, each registered speaker has an allotted time of up to 2 minutes, and comments must not mention any individuals by name or position or contain any personally identifiable reference. Registered speakers must speak in the order called, may not yield their time to other speakers. And in order to keep the meeting efficient, we would ask that no registered speaker approach the table. Each registered speaker should watch the time on the clock in front of our master timekeeper, Mr. Qualls. It will notify you once your 2 minutes has expired. We thank our registered speakers that you've acknowledged that you understand and agree to follow the procedures set forth in BED by signing the public comment form. Any individual who fails to adhere to this policy will be stopped by the board attorney. Mr. Qualls, with that, can you please introduce our first registered speaker?
Yes, sir. President Ellis, our first registered speaker this evening is Isabella Sizemore. Isabella, will you please approach the podium? You'll have 2 minutes, and I'll just start the clock whenever you begin. And then just a reminder to not mention anybody by name. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Issa Sizemore, and I appreciate the opportunity to speak to you today. I'm 12 years old, going to the 7th grade. I've lived in Klein my entire life. I went to a Klein ISD school for 2 years, but started to homeschool after the pandemic started. I would like you to stay opted into the Homeschool UIL program. Klein's motto is Klein ISD supports the success of every student by focusing on 3 strategic priorities: cultivating talent, building community, and reimagining learning. Staying opted in helps Klein continue to follow these standards. Cultivating talent, allowing homeschool students like myself to participate in UIL extracurricular activities, brings a new level of talent into the schools. Personally, I've been in dance and swim almost my whole life and would love to continue these activities with Klein. Building community. Klein homeschool students currently have no connection to the school district or campuses. Allowing extracurriculars for homeschool students connects them to the schools and the Klein community. I would love to compete alongside my friends who already go to Klein schools. I already cheer them on at their plays, choir performances, sporting events. I would love to play alongside them. Staying opted in would also help integrate students from different backgrounds into Klein, strengthening community relationships and building bonds. This makes our community richer, stronger, and more diverse. Reimagining learning. Not everyone learns the same way, and that's okay. Homeschool might work better for some people, but they shouldn't be left out of UIL programs and extracurriculars because they learn differently. Giving homeschool students access to UIL activities allows them to experience group sports, academics, and arts that we otherwise do not have access to. Klein ISD claims to support the success of every student in their strategic priorities. This should not exclude homeschool students. I would love to compete for Klein, and I hope after hearing this, the Klein ISD decides to stay opted into UIL programs for homeschool students. Thank you.
Thank you, Isabella. President Ellis, our next registered speaker this evening is Christina Sizemore. Christina, will you please approach the podium? Christina, you'll also have 2 minutes, and I'll just, once I reset the clock, I'll start it once you begin.
Good evening. I'm Chris Sizemore, a resident of Klein, a business owner, and a mom. I'm here to share my support in Klein staying opted into the UIL program for homeschool students. We tried Klein for our daughter, and unfortunately, it didn't work for us. Thankfully, I have a husband with a teaching degree, as well as a supportive family and community who also assist in her educational journey. I want to be very clear that I do not school her alone. She is getting a great education, but what I can't do is create a choir or a volleyball team in our living room. My daughter has spoken on how remaining in this program aligns with Klein's strategic priorities. I would like to address the reasonings the board has given for opting out of this program. First off, lack of ADA funding. The state will provide $1,500 per student per UIL activity. For a moment, let's reduce my child to a monetary figure on paper. If she were to swim at Kleb for the 5-week season, between practices and meets, she would be in the school for a total of 22.5 hours, or the equivalent of 3.08 full school days. $487.01 per day for one child to compete is far above what the state would pay for 3 days of ADA funding if she was a regularly enrolled student. I am aware the time versus cost depends on the UIL program. Funding is limited and is supplemented by booster clubs. Who organizes booster clubs? Parents. Who are some of the most involved parents? Homeschool parents. This district would be tapping into that resource. Potential enrollment loss was the other concern. I challenged the district to flip the script and instead look at this as a recruitment opportunity. Many homeschool families only homeschool through elementary and are looking to transition to public or private or charter schools for the middle and high school years. By homeschoolers having a foot already in Klein's door through this program, you're connecting parents and students to schools in a way they haven't been connected before. I challenge the board to look not at what could be lost here, but what could be gained. We put up signs about welcome to Klein, Texas, now entering a Klein community. The school district should be living that welcome and by welcoming all students in Klein, Texas into Klein schools, even if they learn a little differently. Thank you all.
Thank you, Ms. Sizemore. President Ellis, our next registered speaker is Pat Huff. Pat, will you please approach the podium? Pat, you will have 2 minutes once you begin speaking, and I'll just start the clock whenever you begin.
Jackson, if you just hand those out at a break when we go into closed session.
Welcome, everybody. Members of the board, please, you don't have the information in front of you yet, but when you go to break, please look at it and share and discuss. They are report cards from the 2023 school year. 24 and 25 are not available to me, so I didn't have the most up-to-date, but it doesn't matter for what we're going to be discussing tonight. The demographics that have the strongest impact on the overall rating of the school are on the second page of the school report card. Please keep that in mind. I have given you the 5 high schools in Klein, plus I have given you 2 extreme examples to demonstrate the inequity and discrimination present in the accountability system. So the 4 demographics I'm going to be speaking about deal with percentages in the school population. These percentages are the economically disadvantaged, the English learners, special education, and the mobility factor in the student population. Now note the extreme inequity when you get it, present in Highland Park and Grand Prairie. I chose Grand Prairie because their demographics are like Klein Forest. One of the glaring similarities is in the percentage of English learners. The danger for Klein Forest is that as an English learner population rises, and it will, the possibility of slipping to an F will increase. I hope you agree with me that the TEA forces schools to operate in an unjust, inequitable, and discriminatory system. This continues because of the laws that have been written to enforce the discrimination. Now, there were unjust laws that allowed for segregation to exist in our society prior to 1954. Now, these accountability laws are unjust as well and need to be overturned. It is my belief that they will only happen in the court of law, which is why I am encouraging you once again to organize with your fellow ISDs and take them to court. So please, when you get these, if you have any questions, I know that you have people on board that can explain it to you.
We can't deliberate with the speakers, but if you have a point of clarification or a point of order, we can talk about that, you and I.
I have a clarification that I would like. Could you tell me or tell us, we talked that we are not able to talk on a non-agenda item. Where exactly is that?
Thank you, Ms. Arlano. I think what you're asking me is when somebody comes to public comment and they speak on a non-agenda item, which Klein allows, then we can't, as I just told Trustee Morrison, we can't talk about it. That's from the Texas Open Meetings Act, Chapter 551 of the Texas Government Code. The Texas Open Meetings Act is a transparency statute. It requires that anything a governing body is going to talk about be on the agenda and be posted so that individuals, citizens have notice and an opportunity to come if it's a matter they're concerned about. If we talk about things that people bring to non-agenda items, then other community members would not have had the opportunity to come. Does that answer your question?
And thank you, Mr. Huff, for your comments. President Ellis, our next registered speaker this evening is Miss Nikki Kinchin. Ms. Kinchin, will you please approach the podium? You will have 2 minutes, and I will just start the clock whenever you begin.
I'm here to formally address a specific issue I have with Klein ISD. I'm continuing to receive numerous correspondence, calls, emails, home visits, and texts from people district-wide about ongoing fraudulent grievance processes that have significantly impacted my child's education, other students, and employees. Currently, yes, tons of people are reaching out in the masses because they are scared and begging for help. That's the hostile and toxic environment in Klein ISD that is allowed by administration and human resources. First, there seems to be a lack of organization and lack of leadership. Leadership is sinking in Klein. I believe that erasing this old, outdated grievance process is crucial for an effective environment for all. Second, there have been multiple instances where important facts and information have been overlooked or not adequately notated by independent hearing officers who are former employees or work acquaintances. This has resulted in a biased and rigged system to deliberately deny and fail each person who files. Go and look at your statistics. Whoever thinks this process is acceptable and voted on it needs help. As a former educator, it is important to ensure that all required facts are properly noted and executed. This is not currently happening. It's botched, it's manipulated. Mine alone was a total disaster, which prompted myself to go to the TEA, again to end up in a legal battle. It's time for the public to hear and know about the broken grievance system, as they can be hurt by this corrupt process, and it's a setup to make parents and employees give up. Again, if you think this is acceptable, it's not. It's broken. Lastly, there have been instances where my questions and current PIR request is being deliberately flagged and denied. I requested any and all grievance reports twice and going back 5 years. It's not like I'm asking for the Jeffrey Epstein, files, but it feels like it. If any one of you want to see my denial of records, I have a letter. Guess what? I'm not done at all. I will be bringing this to Paxton's office since you're breaking the open records law again.
Thank you, Ms. Kinchin. President Ellis, that concludes tonight's registered speakers.
Thank you, Mr. Qualls. The trustees will now move into closed session according to sections 551, 071, 072, 074, 076, 082, 0821, and 087. The time is now 6:14 p.m.
Audio test 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Audio test 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Mic check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Audio check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Audio check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
May I have your attention, please? The time is now 6:55 p.m., and this meeting of the Klein ISD Board of Trustees is reconvened. Thank you for joining us tonight. The Board of Trustee Doug James will lead us in prayer, and Trustee Georgianne Reitmeyer. Actually, I think we have a scout, Josh Smith, in attendance, who will lead us in the pledge to the Texas flag and the United States flag. If you can please stand.
Pray with me, please. God our Father and our strong God, we first want to thank you. We thank you for your amazing grace. We gather here today to seek your guidance and your wisdom as we focus on matters concerning the district. We ask for your Spirit's power to be present tonight to illuminate our minds and to inspire us to make decisions that are beneficial for all students, staff, and community members. We pray for those who have suffered loss in the floods and the fires, and be with them as only you can. God, grant us discernment to understand the needs of our students and the foresight to plan for a successful future for our kids. We ask it all in the name of Jesus, we pray. Amen.
Please join me in the Texas Pledge. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one indivisible.
All right, thank you, Josh, for leading us in the pledges. And thank you all for joining us for tonight's meeting. Your presence is incredibly meaningful to the board, the students, educators, and the community members that we will be recognizing this evening. If you would please take a moment just to silence your cell phones, that would be great. Klein ISD is a family with a shared vision that every student in Klein ISD enters with a promise and exits with a purpose. Board of Trustees does not take lightly the responsibility our community has entrusted to us. We work diligently along with Klein ISD leadership on behalf of every student in our school system. Every regular meeting, including tonight's, is an opportunity for the trustees to conduct the district's business, and to recognize the achievements of our Klein ISD family. The work that happens every day here in Klein is something that we're proud of and excited to share with the entire community. We conduct our board meetings in accordance with Texas law. So, for example, we cannot vote on any item that's not listed on the agenda, and we cannot publicly discuss items that do not appear on the agenda. All of our voting must be in public. We can privately discuss items regarding personnel, the discipline of students, acquisition of school sites, matters of school safety and security, and items requiring legal advice. However, the final vote must be done in complete view of the public. Please understand, this meeting is for the board to have discussion, deliberate, and take action. We would ask that you refrain from making any comments or public demonstration to allow us to focus on the matters before us. Finally, the agenda and the notice of the meeting are distributed to each trustee 1 week before our regular monthly meeting. So individual board members have questions, they can often call the superintendent prior to the meeting. Therefore, on many items recommended for approval, the trustees can quickly determine if they agree. So if it looks like we are moving quickly through the agenda, it's because we're prepared to make a decision without any further questions or discussions. So Dr. McGowan, we're ready to go on to a report on the collection of delinquent taxes, everyone's favorite subject.
Absolutely. Everyone's been on the edge of their seat waiting for this. So Mr. Schaefer, if you'll please come forward and introduce tonight's report, please.
Thank you, President Ellis, members of the board, Dr. McGowan, Ms. Spalding, and Klein family. This evening we have Jason Bailey with Purdue Brandon, who serves as our delinquent tax attorneys, to go over our annual delinquent tax collection efforts over the past year. So I'll turn it over to Jason to go over the report.
Thank you, everybody. I've seen the agenda and the important people that I'm keeping up from getting recognized, so I'm going to try to go as fast as possible. So please have any questions, just feel free to interject. Real quick, I just want to get us to how we got on where we're at, where we start this last collection cycle. Taxes are always kind of a year behind. So what I'm talking about initially is going to be the 2023 tax year. Y'all remember back in 2023, y'all begin the budgetary process deciding what kind of a tax rate was needed in order to fund the school district. And Klein assessed $265,301,510 in base taxes for the 2023 tax year. All the statistics tonight I'm going to give are just base taxes. I'm not going to try to pad my statistics by adding in any penalty and interest, but rest assured, we did collect all the penalty and interest that the district is due. Those tax bills went out. The Harris County Tax Office began to work the accounts and answer people's questions, and they went delinquent on February 1st of 2024. And that's when the legislature determined that the district will receive statutory penalties and interest for the failure to pay the taxes on time. Starts at 6% in February, maxes out to, goes up 1% per month until July, when it's a 12% penalty that's due the district. Interest is at 1% per month. It keeps accruing. So 1% in February, 2% in March, and it just keeps accruing. And in May of 2024, the tax office sent out a notice that said, if you don't pay your taxes, penalties, and interest, there's going to be an additional penalty that will be added on at 20% on top of what the school district is entitled to under the statute. It'll be turned over to the attorneys on July 1st. And that's what happened. And on July 1st of 2024, your tax office had collected 97.5% of all the taxes that have been assessed and turned over $6,465,000.51 in base taxes to us, and we begin the process. We get the download of your roll. We begin to work it. We do title work. Our goal is to contact every individual, find out why they haven't paid their taxes, and work with them to resolve this matter, because it's a delinquent problem not only for them, but for the district. So we begin to contact each individual, lien holders, businesses, anything we can do. So in those first 11 months, the statistics I'm going to be showing are from May. We haven't got the update from the June yet, but there were $6,465,000 in base taxes. My numbers quite didn't show up, but that green represents 59%. We collected $3.7 million of those taxes that have been turned over to us. You have a tiny sliver in bankruptcy. Not a big problem for this district, which is always good, but we do represent the district and file all the necessary claims in bankruptcy. You only have $18,000 in base taxes in bankruptcy. You have $275,000, 4% of your roll that's in a payment plan. These are official payment plans with the Harris County Tax Office. We work with them to make sure that those are met, and if they don't make their payments, then the plans are breached, and we begin to work at them. You have $141,000 in base tax deferred. That's the gray sliver. These are people who are over 65 or disabled. They don't have to pay their taxes, and we can't foreclose or do anything to try to collect them. So they continue, that taxes accrue. You don't get rid of them. They just get deferred to a later date, and we'll collect it once they no longer own or occupy that property as their homestead. There's $570,000 or 9% of your roll that is in litigation. Rest assured that if it goes into litigation by our office, we have done everything possible to reach and contact the people and resolve it before that matter, including all lien holders. But if that fails, then we will put it into litigation. So that leaves $1,681,000 that haven't collected, not in bankruptcy, not deferred, not in a payment plan, or not in litigation if we're continuing to work. For overall, if you look at what the tax office did on that original $265 million in levied, since we've worked it for the last 11 months, you're at 98.98% collected of all the taxes that were assessed by the district. And we'll continue to work that to get that sliver even smaller, to try to get every dollar for the district. Just real quick, historically, so this represents the 2022 tax year. There was $6.2 million turned over on July 1st of 2023. That first bar chart represents the first year. We collected 64.8% of the taxes turned over to us in that first year. The second one is the first year in 11 months. We have the 78.2% of everything turned over to us we've collected. This would be the 2021 year. And that one, first year, we had 69.8% collected. Second year, 77.1%. And by 2 years and 11 months, we're all the way at 82.8% collected. And just because bar charts are fun, we have one last year. This is the 2020 year. There was $9 million turned over. There was a very large real property accounts that were in CAD. They were in suit with them, so kind of padded the numbers. If you remember, you looked at the other ones, they were right around 6.2 million. So it's kind of distorted. Makes me look really good, but it is a little bit of distortion. So the first year we were at 79.2%, and you skip it down after 3 years and 11 months. It's at 91.3% collected. Real briefly, that's the delinquent tax collection. We appreciate getting to work for the district and making sure that we try to get everybody to pay their fair share. And I don't know if there's any questions, but I'll be happy to entertain any.
Great. Any questions from Mr. Bailey?
We'll keep working it. Thank y'all very much.
Great. Thank you. Dr. McGowan, we're ready for the recognition of members of the Klein family.
Yes, thank you again, Mr. Bailey. We really do appreciate everything that you do for the Klein ISD. And now it's our favorite time of the meeting where we get to recognize outstanding people in our Klein family. So first this evening, I want to welcome our Chief of Human Resources, Dr. Bob Anderson, to introduce our newest principal in the Klein family.
Klein family. Tonight I have the distinct honor of introducing our newest school principal to our Klein family. I'm pleased to welcome Ms. Laura Hall as the new principal of Kaiser Elementary School. Ms. Hall has demonstrated strong commitment to student success, instructional excellence, and creating a positive culture on campus throughout her leadership journey in Klein. Ms. Hall comes to us as a dedicated member of our Klein family. Most recently, she served as an interim principal at Cron Elementary and the assistant principal of Schultz Elementary. Ms. Hall, please share a few words and introduce any guests in attendance.
And Dr. McGowan for believing in me and my leadership. It really means more than I can say. I love this district and I love being part of the Klein family, and I'm just really honored to be able to lead Kaiser Elementary. I also want to thank my amazing family for coming, my mom, Teresa, and my sister and brother-in-law, Vicki and George Geronimo, my brother Mark, and my amazing little nieces there, and my so many amazing colleagues and friends that I couldn't have done all of this without your guidance, your support, and just always being there for me. So thank you very much.
Congratulations, Ms. Hall. We're so excited for you in our Kaiser community. We're confident that you will lead Kaiser Elementary with passion, integrity, and a vision for continued excellence. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Anderson, and congratulations, Ms. Hall. We're excited to have you, and it's fun to see the looks of pride and from your family. So it's a joyful time and joyful for our district. Thank you for sharing your talents with us. All right, Dr. McGowan, we're ready for our next recognition of somebody who we have known in Klein ISD for some time.
Thank you, President Ellis. Well, it is our joy this evening to get to recognize the one and only Dana Hernandez. As many of you know, Dana is Klein through and through, and having called Klein ISD her home since she was in kindergarten, and having spent nearly 30 years serving students and staff with passion and purpose, in every way, Dana has exemplified the absolute best of our Klein family. So Dana, will you please join us at the podium, the one you've stood at many times before, as we share a few words to honor you, and let's give Dana a big round of applause. Dana is a homegrown testament to our district's tradition of excellence. A proud alum who graduated from the Klein High School, Dana is a living example of our shared vision come to life, as she entered with her promise in Klein ISD when she was just 5 years old, and she exited with her purpose when she graduated from Klein High. As an educator, Dana has served in many roles, from student teacher to principal to executive director for teaching and learning to serving on our cabinet for over the last 5 years. And in whatever position God put her in, Dana has always brought a warmth, energy, and deep love for everyone around her and our Klein family that's impossible to miss. The best way I can sum up Dana's career is to say that she lives up to her newest name of Sunny. She is a bright light of hope and happiness in this district, and she is leaving a legacy of faith, hope, and love as she closes this chapter. Dana, you've been more than a leader. You've been a friend and a mentor to many. I thank God for the blessing of getting to lead alongside you, getting to be on a mission we both believe in with all of our hearts for people we love with all of our heart has been one of the greatest blessings of my career. And I want to say thank you to Mr. and Mrs. Zalanish for sharing your beautiful daughter with us all these years, and to Tony and Tyler and Allie and Smiley Riley and to Bo. Thank you for all the sacrifice you've made supporting Dana in achieving her dreams, but even more so, her dreams have always been squarely in the heart of doing what's best for kids in Klein. And so we're just thankful to have the entire family as part of our Klein family. So Dana, congratulations on a job exceptionally well done. We want you to enjoy this next chapter. We love you, and we know you won't be a stranger. And now, district leadership respectfully requests that the Klein ISD Board of Trustees approve a resolution to recognize Dana Hernandez for her faithful service to the Klein students, staff, and community that make up our Klein family. And so I'd like to ask Dr. Bob Anderson will come forward and read the resolution for the board's consideration.
Whereas Ms. Dana Hernandez has dedicated decades of service to the Klein Independent School District, exemplifying positive and innovative educational leadership. And whereas Ms. Hernandez is a proud K-12 alumnus of Klein ISD and has served the Klein family with distinction in a variety of leadership capacities, demonstrating a lifelong commitment to the district's tradition of excellence and innovation. And whereas Ms. Hernandez's career in Klein ISD began as a student teacher, followed by recognition as Campus Teacher of the Year in 1999, and later as elementary principal, earning Klein ISD's Elementary Principal of the Year in 2016, serving for 4 years as Teaching and Learning Executive Director, and most recently as Superintendent Dr. McGowan's Chief of Staff. Whereas Ms. Hernandez has fostered a deep commitment to serving others, all while pursuing continuous growth as a forever learner. Now, therefore it be resolved that the Klein ISD Board of Trustees, along with its superintendent, does hereby officially recognize and proclaim July 14th, 2025 as designated as Dana Hernandez Day in Klein, Texas, in recognition to her outstanding service, unwavering dedication, and profound impact on the Klein ISD, and that she be accorded all the privileges and honors appropriate to this occasion.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Anderson and Dr. McGowan. Trustees, may I have a motion to approve the resolution?
Second.
All right. Motioned, seconded, third and fourth. All those in favor? Any opposed? The motion passes 7-0. We believe in retirement, but in this time, it's done begrudgingly. It'll be sad to lose you, but we really admire you and thank you for all you've done for so many years. Ms. Hernandez, would you like to share a few words and introduce your guests?
Thank you. Thank you for the resolution. Bear with me. I'm going to start, first of all, by thanking my family, my mom and dad. They are my rock. Thank you for, being the best grandparents and being the best support in all the challenges and all the different changes I went through. You said yes to everything because we've been guided by the faith in Jesus Christ. And Dad and Mom, thank you for leading our family, always in putting God first, family second, and everybody else third. And so thank you for continuing to lead in that example for me. I want to thank my two sons, Tony and Tyler. We've been through a lot together, and I keep saying that you all are the reason that I became a teacher, to be a better mom. And thank you because y'all have had to live under the purview of having a teacher and a principal and a coach, and then me here. You've heard it all, and you all have allowed me to give more time to other kids, and then come home and have time to be with you all. Thank you for your patience and grace with me as a mom, because I wasn't always the best, but I really hope I continue to be a best friend for y'all. In our second chapter of life together, y'all have been my greatest joy in life, and my greatest pride is to have the both of you as my sons. I'm so proud of who you've become, both of you. And Allie and Riley, the greatest blessings to our family. Allie, you love so big, and thank you for giving me Riley and letting me have the time to be a Sonny. It's the best job I've had in life yet, so thank you. And Bo hears everything. He's my best friend. Bo and I have been married 21 years, and thanks to the Klein kickoff 21 years ago, we met each other. You're not supposed to meet your spouse at a kickoff, but, thank God for Klein, we did. And I recognized his smile and saw his heart for kids and the way that he helped me raise my boys, and the life we've developed together is so beautiful. I am so grateful for you. You listen to every crazy idea and everything I have to say, so thank you. I love you. I want to thank my comms team. Seeing this up here is really special. In 2020, Dr. McGowan had faith in placing me as the assistant or associate superintendent of communications and public relations in the middle of COVID. And I thought, well, I will do anything Dr. McGowan says, and to join a team like this communications team who's behind the scenes and here, there's no better team to join. You all are my family, and I will love you forever. And I thank you for the trust and love and all that we've gone through and all that you continue to lead this district so well. And the way that you communicate and stay in touch with families and just celebrate all the great things that happen in Klein. I want to thank our cabinet. There's no better team that is smarter, more dedicated, more faithful and loyal to this place and this group of people. Dr. McGowan, you've done a wonderful job hiring the absolute best, and thank you for hiring a wonderful person to take my lead, Christina, when I step away. I know this district's going to be in great hands having Christina as an addition to this absolutely phenomenal cabinet team. I also just want to quickly thank a couple of people who have been a part of my life in Klein. Mr. Whitehead was my principal at Dory. Georgianne was one of my teachers when we started that. She started Keep Pace when I was in high school. So it's so cool. This is what's special about Klein, is all the stories and all the people and generations of kids and people that continue to come back to this district. There's no better district to be a part of, and I hope that we get to have a third generation in our Klein family with Riley entering, because they live here in Klein. And I want to thank our school board. You all are wonderful. And I just ask that you continue to keep your agenda focused on students. This board is wonderful, and we are so blessed and Klein that we continue to have people that show up, that care about kids, that hire a leader, that we could have no better leader than Dr. McGowan. And so I just tell the board thank you, and thank you for all the opportunities that you have supported me along the way, and that you continue to fight for the school district. And last but not least, I want to thank Dr. McGowan. Thank you for, first of all the mentorship. I've looked up to you since we were teachers. You became a principal very quickly, an executive director, a chief learning officer, a deputy chief learning officer, and all the other roles all together. And I've admired every step you've taken, because not only are you brilliant, but you remember to keep the main thing about the main thing at all times. And it's always about fighting for Klein kids the way you fight for your own too. And I admire you for that. It's hard to lead 53,000 kids like your own, and you do it so well. There's nobody better than you. And thank you for believing me. Thank you for mentoring me, helping me to open Mahaffey, and then believing in me to be an executive director with you. And I thank all the people in the room who have continued to help lead and guide me as well. But there's no better leader than Dr. McGowan. And I just thank this board for continuing to put the right person at the seat and continuing to keep innovation and people in this great place, the place we all are proud to be. I live in Klein. I'm not going anywhere. I hope you all know that I will continue to be involved. I just thank you for allowing me to step down, to be able to get to take care of Riley, and to continue to serve in this school district as much as I can, because I love this place dearly. Thank you all so very much. Thank you for the honor, the resolution, and thank you for the opportunities you've given me. Thank you so very much. Yes, yes. Can we get a photo with the family too?
Wonderful. We're at the point in the meeting where we will take a brief intermission to meet our guests. Before we do that, we'd like to take a moment to recognize the scouts in attendance. So I believe, Josh, if you wouldn't mind standing and telling us your name, troop number, and the information there on the screen.
My name is Josh Smith. I am a scout at Troop 87. I am going into my sophomore year at Klein Oak High School, and I am a life scout currently working on Eagle Scout.
Excellent. And then during the intermission, if you could meet with Miss Christine, she has a little certificate for you to help you with your merit badge. All right, we'll now take an intermission. The time is now 7:22 p.m. May I have your attention, please? The time is now 7:34 p.m., and we are ready to reconvene this meeting of the Klein ISD Board of Trustees. We have item 9 on the agenda, the consideration and request for approval of proposed modifications to board policies FD and FM local. May I have a motion?
Second.
Any discussion? One piece of discussion is, from my understanding, there's been recent changes in the legislature that the district is evaluating, both on the income side of whether we can ask people who are not enrolled to be able to pay certain things to enroll, to make it so it's that we're still getting the appropriate amount of funding for these students to participate. And on the other side of it, there's questions about us being able to make offerings available through the virtual academy and other things that the school is working on this year. And so from the executive summary is the purpose of this is to have a year for the district to be able to still get answers on these questions that we are seeking from the state actively currently. And that will give us a chance to reassess this next year before the 2026-2027 school year. Dr. McGowan, anything to add on that?
No, that's correct. I mean, as I think certainly the board is aware, and I think the community is aware, the legislative session just concluded a matter of weeks ago. And of course, we start schools in just a matter of weeks. And so this represents a significant change to existing practice. And as is our practice, we like to be very thoughtful and pragmatic in those changes. Since the end of the session, we have consulted with legal, we've consulted with the Texas Education Agency, we've consulted with UIL, trying to get answers to our questions so we can best understand the right path forward for Klein ISD. But certainly, I want to say thank you to our community members who came to speak this evening and the other members of our community that choose to homeschool their children. We certainly want to better understand your needs and figure out ways that we can partner moving forward so that every person who lives in the school district feels connected to the work that we do in Klein ISD. But at this time, this is the recommendation that we're making to the board, given the very short time frame we've had to operate under and the lack of clear information from the various agencies and from legal.
Further discussion?
I had a question, or maybe it's just a point of confirmation. So historically, before this year, or before this new legislation, by default, school districts were opted out unless you voted to opt in. Okay, thank you.
Another point to, I just keep bringing it up so people will get the message. Just because you pay taxes in Klein ISD, we don't receive that money directly. The state decides how much we get and what we, some fancy formula they use to determine how we get that money. However, I do believe if we pay the taxes in Klein, having the benefit of what Klein can offer even to our homeschoolers is important.
Good. Other comments? Other thoughts? Any other discussion?
And this is a vote that we are intending to take every year, or at least this next year for certain. And then going forward from that, we don't know.
I think the intent is that we're going to be able to, this is the proposed policy, and that we're going to be able to revisit it after this next school year. So this is to maintain the status quo for the 2025-2026 school year, to allow the administration to A, get answers from the state, which they're seeking, about the funding piece. What are we allowed to get on the funding piece? And then B, on the offering piece, what we're allowed to offer. And so that's the piece that we're trying to develop with the Klein Virtual Academy, a lot of other options that are exciting that the district's working on, to be able to then cater to the homeschool community and everyone else in the community. So that it'll be revisited next summer, but that it, as far as whether it happens every year, just depend on what the substance of the board action is next summer.
But if we do like the virtual academy next year, we would have to vote on a policy change then? Is that true?
It depends on what we're able to do in terms of a potential virtual academy, because that's another piece of new legislation that also just got approved, where there are a lot of questions about. And so the district is proactively looking into all the possibilities and hoping, as we expressed in the executive summary, that that could be a possibility in the future, but we could not speak to the particulars of that tonight.
And when we get in and grades and those kinds of things are going to be real important. And I think it's wise to take time to really look at the law and see how it's going to be, what it's going to be, how it's implied or implemented in districts.
A great point. Meaning that if a student fails and then if they're able to then go out and homeschool and still participate in the UIL. And just to clarify too, my understanding is in order for the board to take action next summer, that's something the board would want to do, and that's the representation from the district that we are going to do that. The policy itself, as written, doesn't require us to do that. And so it'd be something that we as a board would need to be able to do next summer. But the point of the policy is it's maintaining the status quo, and the executive summary is that we would then revisit it in the summer. Next summer to be able to do it for the 26-27 school year. Anything that I said wrong on that? Ellen, anything to add?
That's good, thank you.
Okay, any other discussion? The motion has been made and seconded. All those in favor? Any opposed? Motion passes 6-1. Next is item 10, consideration and request for approval of the hearing officer recommendation regarding the Level 3 F&G local grievance. As presented on the screen. May I have a motion?
I move that the board adopt the hearing officer's recommendation in the matter of the FNG complaint of Mrs. Washington. Miss Washington, I apologize.
May I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Those in favor? Any opposed? Motion passes 7-0. Next, we have consideration and request for approval of the interlocal agreement for the Education, Innovation, and Research Grant, EIR. May I have a motion?
Second.
Motioned and seconded. Any discussion? Those in favor? Any opposed? Motion passes 7-0. Now for the consent agenda. Are there any items that you wish to remove from the consent agenda? And I have none. All those in favor? Any opposed? The consent agenda passes by consensus. Moving on to calendar review, our next regular board meeting will be on Monday, August 11th, 2025. And the first day of the 2025-2020 school year is on Wednesday, August 13th. So it'll be right coming up. Summer graduation is scheduled for Saturday, August 16th, 2025. We can move on to comments. Ms. Reitmeyer, can we begin with you?
When you live long enough, you get to see people grow in this community. And it was my joy to see Dana as a high school cheerleader. Well, my boys went to a different school. But to see the maturity and grace that she has proceeded right on through her career, and how the value that she has brought to this district. Her footsteps are on the hearts of many, many students and faculty and people in this community. So thank you.
Ms. Peters.
I also want to say thank you. Thank you for being a mentor. Thank you for helping so many in this community. Thank you for giving your heart, because that's what it has been, is your heart. And I thank you very much. And congratulations to the new principal. Thank you all so much for all your work. All the work that is constantly done in this room is wonderful for all the kids. The summer, you see all the kids having so much fun, but everyone on the outs are preparing for this next school year so that they all have every possibility that they can have. So thank you all, and thank you for leading the way you do.
Well said. Ms. Arlano.
Dana, I guess I'm going to show my age because I have known you two a very, very long time and watched you grow and knew Bo, and it's kind of like one of those little fairy tales, you know, and to see your kids all grown and you with Ed being a grandma, that's just amazing. And so it's a wonderful, wonderful world. And also I want to mention that we really do appreciate the community, and they're spending their voices and talking, and we do appreciate that. And I'm excited about summer, and I can't believe that it's almost over. And I know that y'all feel the same way, but the work that goes on all the time, and I swear, I don't think that Dr. McGowan ever sleeps. Just saying. So we do appreciate all of y'all and all the work that you do.
Good. Mr. Qualls.
Yes, would like to reiterate, thank you to all of the speakers that we had tonight. Certainly appreciate that. Takes a lot to do that, so certainly appreciate it. Thank you. Dana, gonna miss you. You've been awesome to know all these years. I haven't known you quite as long as some of the others in the room, but it's been a long time, and have constantly looked up to you. I thought the way that you mentioned COVID, and I thought the way that you navigated through those waters at a time when communication was infinitely challenging. Was to be commended. It was amazing. And then wanted to end on a shout out to Mr. Blaine Bullard from Klein Cain High School, who was drafted in the Major League Baseball draft today. He's headed to Toronto. Was drafted in the 12th round. So Klein Cain just adds to its collection of draftees this year. They had 2 in the NFL draft, and then now 1 in the Major League draft. So congrats, Blaine.
All right, Ms. Morrison.
I think I'll start with my heart and soul and prayers go out to those in Central Texas. I do have family that lives there, and they were affected by some of the flooding this past weekend. With that said, I want to congratulate our younger speakers tonight because they did very well. Isabella, you speak very well. Thank you for addressing us. And our scout also will go far. He does this very well, too. Dana, being on grandma duty will be the best job you ever have. I guarantee it. Thank you.
Wonderful. Mr. James.
I won't be redundant, but I echo everything that's been said at the table. Of course, with our speakers, especially the young ones, again, I was quite impressed. And then, Dana, we're going to miss you. We hate to see you go, but I understand why. So, again, we thank you for all that you've done and all that you have brought to the table in Klein ISD. We appreciate everything you are and everything that you're going to be, because you're going to be different when you leave this place and spend some time with your granddaughter, and more to come, I'm sure. But again, we thank you for all you've done.
Wonderful. I just want to echo briefly, thanks again to Dana. You've been a voice for kids and public education for a long time, and you've lived it with your life as well as sharing your talents. So Klein's a good place in part because of you, so thank you. And Dr. McGowan, your whole team, we appreciate it. We have a very dedicated group of people who are doing everything they can to help every student, and we acknowledge that and see that, and are excited to have a new school year start. My kids are not excited to have another school year start, but it'll be great. Dr. McGowan.
I want to just say thank you again to this board for all the time and energy you put into thoughtfully considering every decision that's before you, and the way that you engage in the community with such sincerity and show up with your feet to be in our schools and in our students' lives in a way that matters and makes a difference. So I just want to say thank you to all of you for your leadership. I too want to express my deepest sympathies to all of the folks out in Central Texas. I've been in touch with several superintendents who, at this time of year, when a lot of us are just thinking about how to get school open, just the normal challenges that with trying to get a good school year off to a great start. You think about the horrific experiences that so many are having and just the challenges that they're navigating. And given that Klein has experienced hurricanes and lost schools and had families lose their homes, I know we all empathize with the suffering there. So we'll continue to keep our minds and hearts open to opportunities to serve and to partner with those who are suffering as a result of the floods. And then I just want to say another word of just gratitude to Dana, and just I know we're not done celebrating you, and I also know that, to your point, Rob, about Dana being a voice, that voice isn't going anywhere, and for that I give thanks and continue to look forward with anticipation for the ways that God continues to use you in our Klein community. So I appreciate everybody's hard work on getting ready for tonight, and in the next couple of weeks welcoming back over 53,000 students into our care. We're looking forward to it.
Wonderful. If there are no objections, it is now 7:50 p.m. and this meeting is adjourned.